And I'm going to introduce our first speaker for the day. Gabriella Makonese, Head Social Impact Portfolio Management, Nedbank Corporate and Social Investment Division. Let me briefly read her bio before she comes onto stage. Should I? Okay. Gabriella Makonese is a seasoned development professional with extensive experience in designing and managing grants and award projects across Africa. She currently leads social impact portfolio management at Nedbank, where she spearheads strategic initiatives aimed at fostering inclusive and sustainable development. Talking about the theme for today, sustainable business practices, no better individual than Gabriella. Please, let's show some love, Gwanyamazan, and welcome onto stage, Gabriella from Nedbank. I'll give you the mic. Please, can you just wait there? But now you're letting me down because we said we show love and we show energy. But now the Nedbank. So let's keep the energy right how we started. Ladies and gentlemen, let's show some love and welcome onto stage Gabriella from Nedbank. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. There's the mic. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm really glad that I'm coming after the pitches. That was so amazing for me. So I come from the social impact unit, and our work essentially is to fund businesses like you guys. And we focus on, township and rural economies. Do you want them to change for you? Yeah, what's his name? Yeah. And I love the pitches, right? I'm going to tell you guys how to do a perfect pitch because each one of you had something that should have come together. But it was beautiful. I loved it. So in terms of this, and this is what we look for. I'm going to summarize my pitch and then I'll go to it. But I thought this was a good example, yeah? From a banking perspective, I'm not talking for the other judges, ne? So I'm telling you, if you go to a bank, what are we looking for, basically, ne? So let's say you meet me outside. Hey, sis Gaby, Yazi, I have this business, blah, blah, blah. It's okay, let's hear. What's your business, right? This is what I'm hoping the conversation will go this way. You tell me who you are and what's your background. And I'm going to give you some examples. Ne? I felt that Upule and Wandile, they did a great job. Then Pule came, she even told you what she studied, blah, 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 blah. You know when you're completing a form at the bank, they always ask about your background. It matters, right? We want to know who are we giving money to, do they have some skin in the game, can they do something and finish? And that's what that illustrates, right? And then what's your story? I felt that Penwell and Vincent, they were like really good at that, right? Everyone did that well, but I'm just giving you examples. They went there, they told you that in that little 3 minutes, they could still fit in their background story. Okay, when I grew up, I walked however many kilometers to school, and so blah, 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 blah. Background, it matters, you're connecting with the heart, right? Don't forget that you're dealing with people. You need to connect with me, and I need to hear that, oh, I know what that feels like. Let me hear this guy, you know what I mean? That's it. And know your numbers extensively. Kensani and Gracious, they really went there. Gracious's slides, they stalled. They were slow. I don't know what he was doing. The slides were not moving. Gracious was telling you the numbers down to the 80 cents off memory. She knows her numbers. Kensani the same. She stopped a little bit. Then she told you about her cost of sales. She was able to tell you that this is what I make a day, blah, 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 blah. That kind of thing. You need to run through your numbers, know your numbers, even if you're just giving me a range. But I need to feel like I'm going to give someone money that knows where the money is going and what are their costs. I like that Vincent spoke about his operations. He's telling you that I'm a driver and I'm also, he's the owner and he's also the driver. And he's telling you honestly that he needs money to pay salaries. I don't know why you guys don't talk about operational costs as if you're doing this for the goodness of your heart. No, you're doing this, right? You're doing this because the government cannot create jobs for everybody in the country. So you're doing this as well to sustain yourself, and that needs to come through. You're showing that you have some skin in the game. You also need to make money from your business. That needs to come through, and you need to be honest about that, yeah? Otherwise, it actually perpetuates a fear that some of us have as funders, which is that you've got a full-time job somewhere, and then if you find 2 minutes, you are in your business, you know? It's better to find someone who's 100% in this or 50%, and they're able to say, no, I've got a full-time job, but I'm passionate about entrepreneurship, right? And this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm able to do both. Or I'm working until this business gets to a point that it's able to pay me X amount, and so then I'll transition into this. It's like if you want to own a McDonald's, for example, a franchise, they will not let you buy the franchise if you cannot commit 100% of it. You cannot work or own a McDonald's, for example, if you have a full-time job. They want you to have skin in the game, to say, this is my business, I'm doing this. There's no plan B. Do you know what I mean? So that needs to come through in your pitch. And then, I felt like most of you guys, you really know, you know your products very well, came up. Vincent was even telling you how much sales he's doing in a range, 7 to 13 a day. Great. And then be prepared for hiccups. Like Vincent, they were, I don't know what happened there. Slides didn't work. He pulled out his phone, and he's able to continue, right? I felt like I could have given him more time. But yeah, that's just me. But learn to connect with people on a personal level. Let me tell you something very interesting. If you're gonna work in our team, which works with people, we are passionate about township economy, rural economy. The first interview, we're just getting to know you as a person. We don't care what you studied. We don't care what you do. We just wanna connect with you as a person. What are the interview questions like? What do you do on the weekend? What do your friends say about you? Simple. We want to see if we can connect, because then how are you going to come here and pitch in a way that you can connect with people, and people afterwards can feel comfortable to come to you and chat to you, right? If you're in the business of working with people like most of you are with your businesses, you need to be able to relate with people one-on-one on a personal level. Ne? And then, as we are talking, building the relationship, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I think it's almost like an art to learn to how do you connect with a person and then come through to the more formal communications, because your network is where is where you're going to thrive as a business and be more sustainable. So let's start with the slides. I've already covered some of this. Okay, let's skip this one. Okay, that is I really like this image. It shows where we are as a country, right? Most of us, I think we're trying to get a leg up. There's a lot of barriers in terms of business. You don't have capital. You don't have this. Most of you spoke about what you don't have. You have different barriers in your businesses that you would like to overcome so that you have that picture, which is, for me, social, and it's not just social, but also economic. You want economic freedom, right? So that you're able to do the thing that you love for the people that you love, in a community that you love. Most of us would be happy in that kind of environment. Okay, can we move? Can move again? So the question that we're going to be answering in our chat today is, how do you make a business that's going to last, right? So you don't want to, I don't know how many businesses I've opened and closed, so don't be me. You want to open a business, and that's going to last through, that's going to be a legacy for you and your children. So you need to start a business, even if it's something that works for you now, but with sustainability in mind. Ne? How is this business going to be here 10, 15 years from now? That's the question that we're going to ask in a depressing but dynamic economy like South Africa. Okay, you can skip that one. He covered it. Can skip that one. Okay, can skip that one. Hey, Dallas Colon. Okay, I'm gonna go to the slide myself actually. Just 1 second. Okay, so I'm at the last slide actually. So what are the funding sources that we typically have? Ne? If we choose scale, or you come from a wealthy family, you've got own sources of funding, you've got an uncle, you've got a mom that will help you start your business. That's fair. That's how most people start their businesses. And then secondly, the other kind of funding that you have, you've got grant funding that you can get from different organizations. Such as us. Nedbank would do that as well. And then you've got concessionary funding. Concessionary funding is, and I'm not sure you guys know about this, but anyway, Concessionary funding is we give you a loan or funding from a bank, but it has no interest. So it's not a grant. A grant, aibui, right? Signezimali, and then that's it. That's the input into your business. It's not coming back. That's a grant. Concessionary funding, we give you the funding. It's a loan, but it has no interest. So if I give you 50,000, you pay back 50,000 and not a cent more. And usually the terms are a bit more flexible. So you can say, Gabby, this month, it's okay. Yeah, we'll talk again. I'm calling you again on the terms are much more flexible because we understand that in a country like South Africa, there are a lot of uncontrollable dynamics in the business world. And why do we have this kind of funding? It's because if you don't understand as a business that we live in a country, like I just said, that is so dynamic and that businesses fail within the first 3 years of being established, you need in your systems, you need to be able to cover for that and accommodate businesses to thrive. If you want a business to thrive, you're going to do this for the businesses that you work with, right? You're going to give people space to be honest and then also capacitate them to grow. The third one, I think you guys, we all know, is a loan, pure loan. I give you 50,000 and then I add interest on it, you give me 70. That one we all know, right? But I know that most of you guys don't know about the concessionary funding. And an interesting fact, in our division at Nedbank, if you, let's say we give you concessionary funding, I thought this was so interesting as well. You get concessionary funding as a business. If you do well, let's say you pay consistently, no issues, lucky for you, good industry that you're working in, the market is accessible, everything is going according to plan, we can actually shorten. Let's say you're supposed to give us back that 50, we can actually say, no, actually give us 40, right? Because we're interested in actually you thriving. We want you to do well so that you can help other entrepreneurs, employ people, and we move on to give somebody else that funding because you're doing great, right? If you're really interested in the business of uplifting the community, I think that's how you need to look at funding from a funding perspective. We want you to do well, and that means supporting you and making sure that you move across the funding quantum. So you're moving from, I've got my own money, I put 5,000 in there, I get grant funding, now my business is worth 20,000. I want to scale, I want to grow my business. So now I get concessionary funding for 250,000. You make that work well. And now you can access a loan by yourself for 1.5 million, right? That's where you want to go across in the funding quantum. I want to cover another reason why this is important. When you get a grant or you get any sort of funding from a financier, if your ultimate goal is to get a loan from a bank, right, so that you can have this huge business and be a good business man or woman, what you're going to need to do is show paperwork, right? And most people, that's where they struggle. You've got everything else. Your credit record is perhaps clean because you have just a little bit. You've got a good background, you know your market, you know everything else. What you need is funding. He said you don't need funding. Let's say you need funding, you are there. You need funding. What you need is good paperwork. You obviously know from a banking perspective, they want to know that, okay, if I give you money, they want to be able to see in your financial statements, you are able to work with their money, you are able to pay back their money, right? You are making a profit. I know one of the guys also spoke about making a profit. You need to talk about the fact that when you do have money, you do make a profit, right? If you're not making a profit, that's fine. But you need to position your cash flow projections in such a way that shows that, no, for me, I'm going to start making a profit next year. That's also better than someone who doesn't know. So if I say to you, okay, your business is making a loss, how do we get you to profitability? You need to say to me, okay, for me to make a profit and be able to employ, because that's the exchange. We support businesses that are in the business of employing other people or creating other entrepreneurs, right? So if you say to me, for me to be able to create other entrepreneurs or employ other people, I need 500,000, right? By when? Then you need to be able to tell me, no, my business will be profitable in 2027. It's fine, eh? But it's better than someone who doesn't know that number. So you need to have your numbers in check. So My encouragement would be to you, I know most business people, we don't like Microsoft Excel, but it's a good place to start. Know your numbers, track your sales, track your profitability, and track your revenue, as little as it is. And I think the final thing I'd like to leave you with is just financial discipline. If you don't have, I was visiting a project in Limpopo, and this other lady was saying to me, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. She got grant funding, and she ate it. So now, I don't know what happened. So they promised her money. She ate the money personally before she was given the funding. So when the funding came in, she's now, the funding didn't come in, sorry. So that's the story. Her funding didn't come in. So now she's stressing. She's like, I was just thinking myself, it's been such a rough 2-3 years of my business. I just got a call from the accelerator program, but that money is not it fit these. So then I thought it would be so great if she was in the habit of giving herself a salary, to say, even if funding comes in, whatever, when funding comes in, my salary in my business is this amount and I don't go above. Ne? I don't go above. So you don't say, okay, no, if I get $1 million, salary I got this month, I got it by 50. No, you continue with that amount that you were consistent with, that this is your salary. Because we are also going to look at that when we're considering you for funding. So I hope I've not made this too technical, but those are things that I can leave you with. Have financial discipline. Learn to connect on a human level. Ne? Before, hey, it doesn't, hello, connect with people. Because most of us, our richness is in our network. You know that. So I didn't sleep last night. I had so much work. So I said to my husband, hey, you need to drive me. I'm going to Mpumalanga. He's like, okay. We get here, and he's like, oh, I funded these guys. I'm like, who? He's like, T, when that guy came on the video. He's like, we gave money to this guy. He was working at a Department of Small Business. Already network, you're always one person away from someone who knows. You see how close the environment is, right? So I'd like to use people in your network, take people's numbers, and also make sure that money circulates within your economy, right? If you know someone that has a product that is staying in your community, support that person. Make sure that you grow the economy that where you are staying, right? Most of us, we like getting products and services from Joburg, but there is someone who you can decide to support locally. So if you want to be supported locally, I think you should also make an effort to support your local business network. Yeah, thank you.